there are things that US policy can do to affect these dynamics or to shape China's trajectory. What do you think those are? Do you think those tools exist? And to the extent they do, what are they? Yuen, let's start with you on this one.
Great. It's a big question, and I think I would like to make 2 points. So the first point that I would like to make is that I would question the current US consensus that the previous belief that engagement will lead to liberalization is wrong. I would actually question that consensus. I would say that it is partially right and partially wrong. Because as you know, in one of an earlier essay that I wrote in Foreign Affairs, political liberalization was absolutely indispensable for China's economic rise, except that political liberalization did not take the form that Western observers expected, such as multi-party elections or free speech at the social level. But if you look behind the curtains, there was so much liberalization within the government and party apparatus, including the rejection of dogma, allowing diverse opinions, allowing people to make honest criticisms, and so forth. So that was absolutely crucial for China's economic rise. And the second thing I would point out is that the current situation that we are seeing, a China that is prosperous but appears more authoritarian than ever, we might have to consider that this is the result of a contingency, which is that Xi happens to be elected as the leader in 2012. And we also have to consider the contingent events surrounding his rise. As I described in my essay, he came to office in particularly ominous circumstances where it was in the midst of the biggest scandal in the party's history. It was in the midst of an alleged coup. And I think those circumstances led him to be extremely insecure and paranoid. And so that paranoia has been institutionalized and built into his politics. And so there is a possibility that if a different person had been the president, or if Xi had come to office in different circumstances, we would be looking at a very different China today. But the policy of engagement, I don't think that that was a mistake, because in fact, liberalization did happen. So my second point is that while I don't think it's easy to come up with a right US-China policy, I think it is fairly easy to point out that the US should not make the wrong policies. It should avoid shooting itself in the foot. And I think this sudden withdrawal from China, this sudden call for disengagement and the antagonism has the effect, I think, as I believe it was Wang Jisi who pointed out in his essay, has a backlash effect. It makes all of China, not just Xi and his team, but all of China, it makes China feel that the US is making China its enemy. And so that actually has created it has actually helped Xi a tremendous amount by uniting the country and uniting the party against him, even though we know that there are critiques of his controlling style of governance. So I think the US has to at least avoid shooting itself in the feet and actually handing Xi the gift of unity around him.